I've put together a short example so you can see my process. After doing some research into fictional and autobiographical diaries, I came across a few covers that I really liked. What I like about all these covers is that they actually look like diaries. For example, the diary of Adrian Mole looks like a high school workbook that has been decorated by a teenager. The Adrian Mole books are purely fictional, but you get an idea of the character through the designs on the cover. Similarly, the diary of a Z-lister again looks like a diary, but an expensive store-bought diary, perhaps from a high-class stationery store. It's Your Time You're Wasting is the story of a teacher. Sketches on the notepad, coffee rings and post-its look like homework being marked by an obviously extremely stressed out teacher. I love the doodles and whatnot on this one. It really gives the book a sense of personality. The idea I had was along similar lines. The diary of a film student perhaps should come in the form of a dog-eared, well-worn shooting script. So let's begin. Go to File, New. Let's call it eBook cover. And we want a custom size. Set the height at 2000 pixels by 1250 pixels, which is the standard height and width with a ratio of 1.6. Make sure the colour mode is RGB and the resolution is 72 pixels per inch. I'm setting the colour profile to sRGB for digital safe colours. You don't need to do this. Click OK and this is our blank ebook cover. We can turn this grid off by clicking View and ticking extras or unticking extras. Next we're going to import some stock images that I found on the internet. File, Open, and then we select the images in the Finder view. These shall open as 3 separate images within Photoshop. I'm just going to pull our blank canvas out from underneath them so we can see all our images at once. Right, so first of all I want the cover to feel old, like the script has been used a lot, carried around, and imagine plenty of edits inside of it. It's probably been in some school kid's backpack for the last 12 months. So first of all we want to bring over this paper texture. First you need to unlock the layer and then drag it over into our blank canvas. We then go to Edit, Free Transform. We can then scale it up and down and rotate it around by simply hovering over the squares and then dragging when the correct arrow icon appears, or by using the numbers at the bar at the top of the page. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Command T. Once in place we're going to test out some blending modes, go through a few and see what they look like. I like Multiply. I'm also going to bring the opacity down a bit. Next we're going to bring over the coffee stain. I want to use the law of thirds for positioning of this, so I'm going to make a makeshift grid using the rulers down the side of the canvas. It doesn't need to be perfect, just a rough position will do. I'm also going to scale it up and rotate it around using the Translate option. As you can see, the image is on a white background. You can either get rid of this by using a mask, or alternatively you can use a blending mode. Blending modes such as Multiply and Colour Burn will remove the white and only superimpose the dark colours. Next I want to add this ring binding to the edge. This will take a bit of work, combining different mask methods to get the details of the rings whilst cutting out the booklet pages. So I'll unlock it, drag and drop it, edit, translate to rotate and scale up. The next step is to make the bulk of the mask. So use the marquee tool to select the bit I don't want. Select Inverse, we'll then inverse that selection and then we'll press the mask button. This leaves us with the rings on the edge of the booklet. I'm then going to use the black paintbrush to carefully extend the mask. We'll just need to touch up a few things with the white brush. Next up is adding the title text. From my experience of reading scripts, they're usually written with the Courier font, so this is one I've chosen. I'm going to place it along the line of third and centralise. To give it a bit more personality, I'm going to use the paintbrush and a script font to make it look like it's been corrected with red pen. I'm going to attempt to clean up this mask a little using both the pen and the channel methods. It's good practice to name all your layers, particularly if you're planning on having a lot of them. It makes it easy to keep track of what's going on and where. I want to put a little fold in the corner to make it look dog-eared. I'm going to experiment a little. Photoshop is largely about experimenting to see what looks good. Sometimes you can get great effects by making mistakes. In a new layer, you select the area of the paper that you want creased, with either a pen or the marquee tool. Then using the gradient tool, we can create the effect of a shadow. Add a blending mode and you're done. I'm going to move it around a little until it's somewhere I think looks cool. And I'm going to use the soften tool to get rid of any hard lines and make it look like a vector graphic. So you'll want to save your file as a PSD file. This is the Photoshop format. It'll protect all your layers exactly as they are. You can then come back to your PSD file anytime. However, vendors won't want it in this format, they'll want it as a JPEG image. So you'll also want to save a JPEG version of your file. This is a flat file. Once in this format, you can't make any changes to it. I suggest you set it to maximum quality so you don't get compression artifacts in your image. Most vendors have maximum file size of 5 meg, so it's worth checking to make sure your file is smaller than this. If it is not, you will need to reduce the quality of the JPEG compression. Some vendors will require your image to be a different physical size. Now, in the case of most, it is simply that the height can be no larger than 1000 pixels, but the 1.6 ratio remains the same. Simply go to Images, Image Size, and reduce the height to 1000 pixels. Make sure this little chain icon is between the two settings. This ensures that everything will be sized down in proportion. Now File, Save, and save it as a smaller ebook cover. In the case of iBooks, according to their website, the largest dimensions they accept is 1200 by 1200 pixels. This is going to require a new custom setting. Simply start a new canvas and drag over the layers from your other cover. They may need to be rearranged a little bit to ensure that they fit. Alternatively, you can design a whole new cover for the Apple iBook store. Make sure you remember to save your new canvas as a PSD file as well as a JPEG file.